He never doubted her devotion, not for a single moment. Then, adolescence hit. He grew distant, seeking independence. His world expanded beyond their home. Friends, school, and new interests consumed his time. He retreated into his own world, pushing her away. He no longer ran to her with stories of his day. He preferred the company of his friends. Her calls were met with grunts, her attempts at conversation brushed aside. He saw her concern but chose to ignore it. He was blinded by his own self-importance, too caught up in his own life. He failed to notice the sadness that flickered in her eyes. He missed the way she still straightened his picture on the mantelpiece every day. There were moments, fleeting but present, when he wanted to bridge the gap. He'd see her watering her prized roses, a look of quiet contentment on her face. He'd want to tell her about his dreams, his fears, but the words wouldn't come. He'd think about it later, vowing to do better tomorrow. But tomorrow always turned into the next day, and the next. He found himself making excuses. He was busy, he had homework. He convinced himself that she understood. But deep down, he knew he was neglecting her. He carried the weight of his silence, promising himself he'd make it up to her. One day. That day never came. Life, in its cruel irony, snatched her away. One silent, heart-wrenching phone call shattered his world. Standing by her grave, the weight of his silence crushed him. He longed for her touch, her voice, her forgiveness. He would trade anything for one more chance to tell her he loved her, to apologize for his indifference. But it was too late. He was left with a void, an ache in his heart that whispered of regret. He carried the weight of his unexpressed love, a heavy burden he would bear forever. He learned the hard way, love unspoken is love lost.